barrel blasting for Bananzas is gold-plated fun. Listen as we dive into memory card slot 2. Ooh, banana. Electric Boogaloo. Let's transition over to the Psycho Mantis, putting our memory card in slot 1, even though it was a controller, but still.
It was a controller, yeah.
So that we can talk about a game that both Tom and I invested probably just as many RPG hours in an action platformer. I think I spent as many as you spent on Dragon Quest III in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
I think I pushed 50.
Oh, did you really? Wow. Okay.
I think so. Because I did I did a good portion of the post game. I felt pretty compelled to do that. So, do we need to put a spoiler warning here? Maybe, perhaps.
We're going to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it is going to be spoiler filled. My favorite.
Spoilerific.
No one ever goes full spoilers.
We're going full spoilers. This will be a full spoiler show. We will not have special spoiler cast episodes that talk about it while dancing around it. Memory card will always include spoilers, but you'll get a warning every time just to be nice.
I like it. So, we got so much to talk about. I will forever be haunted by Donkey Kong saying, ooh, banana.
Over and over and over again.
To exhaustion, literally.
How many bananas did you end up with towards the tail end of the game?
777.
You got all of them?
No. I think there's more. There's like 900.
I think there's 900, but I think you can buy a lot of them.
That's why. So I didn't get them all. I bought a lot because at one point when you become the elephant, my favorite thing was to just suck up the entire stage and get as many treasure chests as possible to find the fossils and the golden bananas and make it easier for me. And it was just hilarious because in doing that, you get so many Banandium chips that I was just purchasing them. And it was, again, so obnoxious to hear him say it. I think some kid in my class the other day had a banana and said something about it, and then all I could see was Donkey Kong coming out of nowhere and being like, ooh, banana. And I'm just like, this is the brain rot of Nintendo.
Yeah, there could be a little PTSD associated with that. So when they put Donkey Kong in Smash Brothers, whenever the new version comes out, you know his final Smash is going to be Bonanza themed, and you will probably hear that quite a bit.
I hope it randomizes between zebra and ostrich and elephant and what was the last one?
The snake.
Oh, the snake. That's right. I was baffled by the snake. It just felt like it was out of left field.
Well, I mean, there was a snake in Donkey Kong Country 2 for the SNES that you were able to... I don't remember if you were able to ride them or transform into them. No, I think in 3 it was just like, fuck it, you are the animal. Like, you just turn into it. And which I didn't like as much as riding it. But I think the snake comes out of left field, at least it did for me, because at that point in the game, I was starting to hit a little fatigue. And so I'm like, oh, shit, okay, yep. Here's another thing that I'm going to have to do, and I've done this 4 or 5. Like, it got, at that point, I was like, I'm ready for the game to be over.
Yeah, I was getting there, too. Like, I kept calling it a slog. There were a lot of fun moments. Like, it felt like Mario Odyssey, right? It made by the same R&D or using the same assets or whatever it was. And the exploring was childlike. Like, you were like, oh, what's over here? What can I do? And exploring made it worthwhile. But at the same time, it almost gives you, like, an ADHD. Because you're like, oh, if I go over here, I need this banana. And then if I go over here, I can find this fossil. And it sometimes that detracts from where you're trying to get. Because I know I got all the way to my favorite short layer, which was the Rhino racing, and Diddy and Dixie showed up for 2 seconds, and then you said bye, and then you saw them at the end. But for the most part, like, it got to a point where I was just like, when am I getting to this final boss? And then you get to the final boss, and it felt like Final Fantasy. 3 different waves of the same boss in different form doing harder attacks.
Yeah, but I would say that the last third of the game does kind of redeem itself in regards to like rejuvenating my interest, mainly because a lot of those layers were a little bit shorter. I mean, the groove layer I thought was great, but you were kind of like there for like an hour and change, even if you wanted to find most of everything. The forbidden layer, was that the one where like you had to like chuck stuff and it would create the path that you can walk on?
Crystal like space where you would chuck a fractone and it would create basically like a rainbow.
Yeah, so that wasn't a very long one either, and that kind of sets up the planet core, which is the final one. And the feast layer, honestly, it was like probably my favorite one. Like that one, maybe not aesthetically. Like I really liked the tropical layers, even the early ones where everything's kind of new and fresh, and you're like, oh, this is cool, and you want to explore every nook and cranny. But the feast layer, definitely was like all the fast food stuff was great. I thought that was like really, really interesting.
Yeah, the lava, which was an air fry, oil.
Deep fryer.
Deep fryer, yeah.
Yeah, right? There was some cool stuff there. So thankfully the shortness of some of the later ones, but like, I think it was the landfill layer where I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm not digging in dirt.
I just dug it
endlessly.
Immediately down.
Straight down.
As quick as possible.
I just kind of, racing layers after that, and there wasn't much to do there, but it was kind of a nice little kooky thing. I don't know. I would have thrown that in at the end as like a bonus, but it was cool seeing Diddy and Dixie, even though you couldn't do much with them other than high five. But yeah, the last stretch of that game, holy shit, I thought was incredible.
I love here's the spoil. The King K. Rool. Once King K. Rool came out,
oh my god,
I was immediately invested again in the game. I was like, this is where I want to go.
Yes.
And then even at the end where you end up where Dan predicted on a previous Level 30 podcast that we would end up in New Donk City, he wrote that script. And you end up in New Donk City. I was just like...
I said
Or you
that.
did, I'm sorry. I knew it was one of you. You're brothers. You're about the same.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah, but you're right. And part of that was because, one, I was stupid enough to not believe that they would do that. Even though there were some hints kind of scattered throughout the game. The most obvious one being all the characters that you kill are basically skeletons of the Kremlings covered in dirt. And I didn't piece that together until much later.
I did.
Yeah, I didn't. And then even the thing at the end that you're like, I got to break this thing. I'm like, yeah, I didn't realize that was King K. Rool's belly. So when he came out, I was legitimately like, oh shit, they did it. And I want to thank the internet for not spoiling that, because I beat the game much later than some people, and there was not even a hint of, wait till you see what's at the end, because I think that would have tipped the hand for a lot of people that love the series and have played it forever. I was really blown away by it. And then being on New Donk City, going through kind of that gauntlet of just the 3 phases of that boss battle, having him perish, rolling the fake Kremlin credits like they did in the original Donkey Kong Country, only for him to come back. Loved it. Like, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, they did a great job of putting in the work, right? Rare jumped ship from Nintendo to Xbox, and then Nintendo had to redesign Donkey Kong, had to try to reinvent him. Like, Tropical Freeze and Returns are good. I don't think they had this...
Made by Retro, too. Yeah, they were. No, those were great games. Those are excellent platforms.
But I think, like, the DKC series is much better, and it's hard to hit that again, right? You see all those memes where it's like, when I get to this water level and you're just rocking out to this music that out of nowhere they just go way too hard and you're dancing around for no reason when you're on the back of the swordfish. What's his name?
Ingard.
Ingard, that's right, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, the soundtrack, that is one thing for Bananza that I think was the weakest part musically. Like, Donkey Kong Country is such a history of having just absolute bangers like all the way through the game. And even, yes, that underwater aquatic theme is like the most chill, mellow, but like beautiful song. It's like right up there with Dire Dire Docks, and then it's just like it's quiet and mellow, but like also really emotional. I don't think any of the music really impacted me much through Bananza. Like when you have your little like hideaways and you can change the record to like play something different, I always played like the Donkey Kong Country theme just because I wanted to hear that as I approached it. And
mine was DK Rat. But also,
yeah, I got off that real quick.
It's funny because, well, you don't like 64, DK64, but I enjoyed it. It's funny because the whole game revolves around music, right? Pauline is a singer, uses her voice to do different things, and like the soundtrack is not as good. Like it's just kind of awkward.
I wonder if I listened to it outside of the context of the game. Because also remember, music is playing in the background while you're smashing the shit out of everything. So it's literally like sound overload when it comes to the destruction and the sound. Like a lot of that stuff just kind of blows the music out. So there's very few moments where like you can really engage mentally with the soundtrack as you're going through things, unless it's like a rhythm themed level, which some of the bonus rooms were. But I will say that the song that Pauline sings over the final credits, I got emotional over. Like I cried. Like I was just at that point, I was like, fuck girl, you did it. And this song is beautiful. And I think I sent it to my partner and was like, hey, this would make like a really good, contemporary dance number, because she teaches dance. And like I loved it. I sat there and I listened to it like 3 times in a row on Spotify and was like, I like this. This is cool.
I mean, some music
you don't
hits
feel
different.
the same way.
No, the only time I've ever cried at a video game, sadly, was like Final Fantasy VII from back in the day. A few other things I want to touch base on with Donkey Kong is the bonus stages, right? First off...
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night, actually. Go ahead.
First off, the nostalgia factor. Like, the first time I popped out of a barrel, and it was Donkey Kong Country 1 all over again, and there was let's backtrack, there's the DK house, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm in. You sons of bitches did it.
And I was really upset because there are so few of those secret rooms that were styled after the country games. And I do really wish, even like I was at that point, I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe we'll get one of these per layer. And that would be like a disappointing but realistic expectation. And I only think I came across like 2 or 3 after that. There was like a minecart one, and then there was 1 or 2 where you're basically just blasting through barrels and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just wish they maybe did that a little bit more. And I think I did say after the trailer dropped for the game's release, I was like, that bit they showed, that 2D side-scrolling bit in the beginning, like we're going to get that for like 1 section, and then they're abandoning it. I think that was the moment where I'm like, I don't think we're going to see a lot of that. And it sucks because it does hit the feels really hard.
I feel like games nowadays do that a lot, is they're like, let's introduce all these things in the first third of the game, and then as it progresses, like, puzzles disappear, whatever abilities like you use 2 more times, or like it'll return at the end of the game and you're like, I forgot I could even have a knife in like Resident Evil or whatever it may be.
It's like Donkey Kong had a knife?
Yeah, and I'm just saying like just games in general. The one thing I did like about the bonus stages, and I brought this to Tom's attention, was that whenever you're fighting they're not Kremlins, what are they, Crocoids?
Yeah, so they're different types of oids.
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 The alligator type enemies that are rock based. If you look at the walls, you're actually in a Donkey Kong barrel. So like Barrel of Monkeys comes out with a whole new name.
Yeah, there you go. And for me, I was a little disappointed in not the rooms generally. I thought I don't know what to call them, other than like the triangle rooms where like you would go in and there wouldn't be an objective other than get to the end of this like mini obstacle course. Oh, and by the way, there's 3 bananas here, and one of them is almost the equivalent of like a check mark. Like, hey, you made it halfway through. But the other two might not be as obvious, and you kind of have to figure out how to play the room in order to get to them. I always found those super compelling, which I appreciate. But what I didn't like, and this is in stark contrast to the original Donkey Kong Country games, is that they weren't really secret. Like, I loved discovering, oh, I missed hitting an enemy with a barrel and it hit the wall, and I heard that chime indicating like, oh, you found a secret, and you would go in and there would be like a little activity there. Like, I found that much more not approachable. I found that much more engaging in that it let me. Donkey Kong was one of those games that, as a young gamer, like, taught you how to play the game just in look for stuff. And like there was a level in Donkey Kong Country 1, I think it's like World 2 or 3, where one of the secrets is when you enter the stage, just immediately turn back and leave, and it warps you to the exit. That was fucking unreal when I was like 9 years old. And every level after that, I immediately tried to leave and walk back and see if I can do it again, right? So like, just in having those, it kind of teaches you what to look for. And I don't feel like Bananza did that so much. It was just kind of like, here's a platform, smash down, you have a small task, and then you get a banana. And I didn't find that as satisfying. I didn't always seek those out, but I sure as shit found every banana in the triangle rooms, because those at least were like puzzle oriented, and I enjoyed those more.
Yeah, and in those, it's always 3 bananas. The downside is that if you get 2 of them, the placement of where you found them, you're always looking before it to find exactly, oh, it was the first banana, so it's above me, or it's the middle one, so it's afterwards somewhere. I did like let me plan my attack in those rooms, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest of puzzles.
Yeah. So I found them to be kind of hit or miss, and there's only so many times, even though it's true to what was in the original series of enter the room, beat the bad guys in the time limit, and cool. Like, that wasn't as engaging as maybe it could have been, but still true to the series. I just wish maybe they tweaked that a little bit.
The last thing that I really enjoyed was the fractones. It gave me that Banjo-Kazooie like character building. I felt like they were cute. They did their job, but at the same time, they're kind of dicks. They're just like, give me money and let me build you this temporary house that increased your health by 1. And then, like, if you had 5 of them, by like 3, and like, it was just like, okay. But
well, I like that. I like that as a mechanic, because health notwithstanding, they kind of acted as little warp hubs around the map.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to find them just so that, okay, I can explore this area, but I can get back to this area just by warping to this little house. So I thought that was a nice little touch.
That's true.
But the characters were very rare. Like, rare was like, shit, let's take an alligator, put googly eyes on it, done. There's our enemies. Fractones were like very reminiscent of that to me, and I really liked the old guy Fractone that would like turn into the other shop Fractones.
Yeah.
Or the quiz Fractone, which was reminiscent of Swanky Kong from Donkey Kong Country 3 with the trivia and the carnival games and stuff. So like there were some cool things there. They felt like they belonged right alongside the Kremlings. I couldn't tell you any of the enemies in the new Donkey Kong Country games. I had no idea. Right? Not as memorable, but Kremlin stuck, Fractone stuck, and then everything in between, mystery. I don't know.
You're talking about the Bananza over Returns and Tropical Freeze, and like the
because to a degree, Tropical Freeze as well. The platforming was great, but like none of the enemies were super memorable.
Yeah, so go back a second, and like you said, the end of the game, as soon as the bee showed up and Kremlins, I was just like, why weren't these guys in the game the entire time?
Right? Like, I get they wanted the reveal. Maybe reveal it earlier, because that sound, when I took out a Kremling and it went, I felt it in my heart, where I was like, okay, I just warped back 30 years. Like, it was in the bees. Like, I was killing the enemies just to hear sound effects that I haven't heard like in a game. Like, it was so cool to have that.
Can we get another Kremlin?
Yeah, just.
I miss the times of getting DK coins and like solving those little puzzles of throwing a barrel that would bounce around.
Right? Yeah, there was definitely collectathon that long ago too, right? Because you could trade those coins in for something. You had the Creme coins that would allow you to like go into secret areas and stuff. There, Donkey Kong had always been a game about collectibles once the Country series came along, and I'm glad that they did that here, even if you're kind of just collecting everything that falls out of every piece of terrain you smash. It still feels kind of like it's true to itself.
Sorry. Kremlin's killing me. Memory card slot is, I feel like, getting full at this point. If you have not played Donkey Kong Bonanza, it is worth a go around.
Very much so. Strong recommendation.
I love that it's just us, and I'm like dying of laughter.
I don't think I could do it again. I think I throw out my throat doing it twice. Just, I don't. No, it's gone. Deep breaths.
Closing out our 2 memory card slots, I want to look to the future. And with October, there comes quite a few games. I know Tom is very excited about Ghost of Yotai. We know our boy Dan, who is not here today, but hopefully will be on a future episode, is excited for Pokemon ZA and could give us more insight into that series. And then the sad part is this comes out on Halloween, but I am super excited about Mina the Hollower, which is a top-down Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. It uses their assets, but you are a mouse that swings a sword and different weapons. Those are the ones that we're going to probably slot in as we continue on with Memory Card. Is there anything you want to add, Tom? Or want to pose to the listeners?
Nope. Other than thanks for checking out the first episode. We hope you liked it. It's a little bit more focused than our other show. So check back with the next memory card soon.
Yep. So that's all the space we have left on this card. We'll erase some things to save fresh next time. See you then.